this particular conference, the emphasis is on climate action, which means shutting down carbon emissions. Shutting down carbon emissions is an extremely destructive attack on people's living standards, on the survival of people in general.
Crimes against humanity, Bill!
Katie Davis-Court reporting for Rebel News, here today in Blaine, Washington at the Semiahmoo Resort, where international West Coast politicians and oligarchs are gathering for the Cascadia Innovation Corridor Conference to discuss how the West Coast, all the way from British Columbia down to California, will be able to achieve net zero carbon emissions by the year 2050, a goal set forth by the World Economic Forum. Bill Gates, Governor Jay Inslee, Governor Gavin Newsom, Governor Kate Brown, BC Premier John Horgan, and other leaders in the transportation and tech industry will be discussing how to build the world's first sustainable mega region. Now, this is essentially a pact between West Coast states and Canada to implement the same climate policies that would get the region on track to reduce emissions. According to Cascadia Vision 2050, the proposal states that to combat traffic congestion, which they say generate immense greenhouse gas emissions and is a leading threat to climate, they will create a high-speed light rail running from British Columbia down to Oregon. Now, the proposal also states that affordable housing is one of the leading causes of climate change because middle and low-income people can't afford to live in big cities and have to commute in to work, thus polluting the environment. In order to tackle this, the proposal says that they will be developing underdeveloped land and will build new hub cities that the light rail can be connected to. If all goes to plan, the Cascadia Corridor will be the global climate model for the world. Now, they are not trying to hide their intentions in reaching net zero carbon emissions. Just ask the president and CEO of Surrey Board and Trade, Anita Huberman.
What we're talking about today as we celebrate the unity at the Peace Arch is a hope for an economic future where we are creating an opportunity zone in the Cascadia economic region. In Surrey, British Columbia, we're a border city. Half of our population speaks a mother tongue other than English. A third of our population is under the age of 19. 30% of our population is of South Asian origin. We have the highest number of newcomers and refugees that come into our city. We are talking about an opportunity to work across the border for common economic opportunities to make sure that every single person matters in this economy.
Christine Gregoire, former Washington governor and current CEO of Challenge Seattle, an alliance of CEOs from 17 of the region's largest private businesses, wants them to be the global model too.
In recent days, as wildfires spread in our region, we have been reminded that Mother Nature is warning us about the greatest challenges that are facing us and our region, the climate crisis. We just concluded our sixth annual Cascadia conference, and we did so at Semiahmoo. We have committed ourselves to becoming the first sustainable mega region in the world. Together, we can mitigate the wildfires. We can preclude those floods and the dramatic heat that have threatened the lives of so many of our residents and businesses.
The conference drew slight pushback, and a group of protesters gathered outside the resort. They believe that the green agenda is a scam being used to control the population in order to pave the way for the Great Reset and One World Order. If they start messing with our food supply and get rid of beef and meat and cattle and all of that to limit nitrogen emissions, are you going to be eating the bugs?
No, I'm not going to eat any. I'm not eating any bugs. Although I don't eat meat. I haven't eaten meat since the 80s. But I do believe people should eat what they want to eat.
Right.
And I mean, I will buy some leather every now and then. I'm not a crazy vegan. But
do you think the elite will still be eating meat?
Probably. Yeah. And you can see in the past that, all the rules really don't apply to them, And you've seen it time and time again, people talking about climate change and the ocean's going to rise and, Florida should be underwater by now, depending on which decades ago person you listen to. Yet they bought beachfront property because they know they don't believe it themselves.
Why did you decide to come out and protest this event?
I think it's the first time that it's about time that we actually started to go after the entire Cascadia Innovation Corridor concept of creating these IT-centered control cities, destroying the suburban area, and the rural area, and it's an eco-dictatorship basically. That's what this is all about. In this particular conference, the emphasis is on climate action, which means shutting down carbon emissions. Shutting down carbon emissions is an extremely destructive attack on people's living standards, on the survival of people in general. And so this is all part of the bigger picture that's going on internationally, where the region that we're in now called Cascadia, which is actually transnational. It's not a U.S. region, it's a transnational region with British Columbia. This Cascadia region is the model for the rest of the world for the ideal control area of the world, which controls the world through information, through financialization, and so forth. This is the ideal model of what the future is supposed to look like, and it's a horrible future.
Attendees arrived from all across the United States and Canada, predominantly in gas-powered vehicles, although some were electric. But as for Bill Gates, well, he arrived by helicopter. And as for the West Coast governors, well, they canceled coming in person and instead joined the conference via Zoom.
Will not succeed, Bill. Crimes against humanity. Nuremberg 2 is happening.
Attendees said that they are hopeful that the region will be able to reach the net zero goal by 2050. If you enjoyed our coverage today and would like to see Rebel News cover more events like this, please go to rebelnewsusa.com, subscribe, and please consider donating. We are 100% crowdfunded by the people. Don't take a dime from the government. We tell the other side of the story. So if you would like to support us, rebelnewsusa.com. Thank you, guys.